actually. So, I remember watching an episode of QI once with Lee Mack on there, and he said this thing that blew my mind, but nobody else could get it. And basically what it was, they were talking about, it was something to do with perspective, something to do with like paintings, and Lee Mack made the point that when you're looking at a painting, you're not looking at that person, you're looking at that person through the painter's eyes, because you are seeing what the painter saw when he painted that person. So wherever you look at the painting in the room, you're still looking at it through his eyes and then at that person. You're not looking directly at that person. And it's like, when you get your head around that, it makes total sense. And this is what I try and sort of bear in mind when I look at celebrities and think, well, how can you be depressed? Like, I don't think that anymore, but a while back, Ant from Ant and Dec, he was in the news for drunk driving. And then it came out that he had been struggling with mental health problems. And I'd already been struggling with mental health problems by this point, so I sort of had that ability to relate to him, but I couldn't understand. Like, here's a guy that is a host of probably, you know, a number of the most fun shows on TV. I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, Ant and Dec Saturday Night Takeaway, Britain's Got Talent. The fun that he must get up to. You know, he's got arguably the, if not one of the, if not the most cushy job in the world on television. I thought, how can he be depressed? But then I thought, I don't know Ant McPartlin. All I know about him is what I see of his life on TV for an hour a week, and I make up the difference in my head. I'm putting together puzzle pieces that might not be from the right puzzle. So I have no right to judge whether Ant McPartlin should be depressed or not, unless I could spend a day, or even ideally like a week, literally in his consciousness and experience 24/7 all the things, all the highs, all the lows that he has to experience. Then I might be able to say, well, you're overreacting, or, you know, your problems are nothing in the grand scheme of things. But until you can do that, you've got no right to judge people for their mental health illness, because all you get is a very brief picture, and you're judging them based on that. Like, people might look at me and think, how can you be depressed? You've got nobody telling you what to do. You've got a business that you started all on your own and makes you a living. You're tall. You've still got a full head of hair at 34. You've got a loving family. You've got a good group of friends. You've got two groups of friends now. You know, you're not the most hideous guy in the world. You can see, you can hear. You're genetically quite gifted in terms of like strength and athletic ability, even though you certainly weren't taking advantage of that for the first 32 years of your life. And these are all things that I literally try and tell myself on a daily basis. I got to spend another day as a 34-year-old man with a full head of hair. Not every 34-year-old man can say that, and it would depress me to lose my hair. So that's why, like, on a post-it note on my desk, I've got it just says, it could always be worse. Like, whatever you're dealing with, struggling through, there's always a way it could be made worse. You could start losing your hair. So, you know, every day that I don't have that extra problem to deal with, I am grateful. And yeah, it really warms my heart to feel like I'm finally taking advantage of some sort of innate athletic ability. But there are days where I feel like I've lost my entire family in a car crash. I feel completely empty of joy and life. And you know, just the day after my most recent competition, if there was a button in front of me and if I could have pushed it and just disappeared from the universe, I might not be here right now. Because man, I felt low that day, and I can't explain why. Like, is it just a chemical imbalance? Is it something to do with the way my body is built? Or is it from my past? You know, is there something deep rooted? I'm looking at possibly going to an ayahuasca retreat in Costa Rica to try and figure this thing out. And it's like, yes, you can judge me for what you see on the surface, but you cannot see a feeling. Nobody knows how I feel inside except me. And at times it's a feeling that I believe would put even the toughest people through their paces. And you've just got to ride the storm out, because I'm sure you guys feel the same way sometimes. But when I listened to Sam Harris talk about meditation once, and sort of he made a great point that consciousness itself never changes. You can't change it. Consciousness is like the sky, and you know, moods, emotions are the clouds, and they never stay. The next day I didn't feel like that. The next day I suddenly had that feeling of, I feel a lot more like myself again. It was a complete contrast to the day before. And yeah, if you're going through hell, keep going.